If for some reason, like we just saw, the panel does not show up after adding everything properly, one thing you can do is go back to your gear appliance menu, which is where I'm at, and click on, what do you do when something doesn't work? You reboot it. Reboot appliance. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Okay. So I've done a reboot. I've initiated a reboot. It should say that it's lost connection. But once the appliance comes back up, we should see the panel. Now, one thing I've noticed that was wrong in a previous video that I made, over here on your system fault wiring, I had it on normally closed and common. It actually needs to be on normally open and common. So go ahead and set your 2-conductor cable to normally open and common, which is the first terminal and the third terminal from the bottom. And of course we run that all the way around, back up here to your system fault, which I showed in a previous video, and you loop it back over to that one and we should be ready to go. As you see, we've lost connection to the host. That's to be expected. But again, just remember to set that correctly to normally open and common. Once this board comes back to, once this appliance comes back to life, we'll go back to panels and hopefully everything will be green. Green is good. We've got connectivity because that red notification went away. Let's go back to physical access panels. And you'll see when I click on panel, I've actually changed the name of it, everything is now green. I changed the name of it thinking maybe the name I had selected was the cause of my problem, but it wasn't. I just needed to reboot it. So in this case, I'll go back and change it to downstairs controller, which is what I had it on, and its location is downstairs closet. Save that. That shouldn't affect my connectivity. Everything's green. Well, everything except the tamper. The reason the tamper's not green is because of this. The cabinet's open, so it feels like it's being tampered with. There's your tamper switch. If I push that down, our tamper light should go green. When I release it, our tamper goes back red. So I push it, and it goes green. Eventually, there it goes. And when I release it, it goes red. So that means it's working. So that means we've added this panel. This panel is happy and ready to rock. Awesome. Next, since I have a sub panel, let's go ahead and add the sub panel. It's got its own built-in sub panel, which we've already added, but we're going to add an MR52 board. What are we going to call it? I'll just call it an MR52. You can name it by the doors that it controls, but at this point it doesn't really matter. We're adding an MR52, so we have to select it. The only port we're allowed is port 2. We're going to install it. Now the address obviously is not 0, it is 1. The previous video showed you how to strap these dip switches. Here's your LP1502, here's your MR52. These dip switches are strapped for address 1. That switch 1 is on, all the others are off except 6 and 7 and 8. That dip switch 1 defines this as address 1. 6 and 7 is the baud rate, and 8 is the secure communication. So in this case, we want address 1. When I click save, we should be green on this guy too as soon as we go back over here to status. So let's have a look. Boom, we are green. Our power light is on for some reason. I'm not sure why. I may not have run a jumper between, I did not. I'll bet you I did not run a jumper between the system fault and the MR52 board. So my normally open and common only runs to my LP1502. I did not jump it to the MR52, but I could, and I probably should. Actually, it probably goes here, doesn't it? Yes, fault and ground. That's why, if you notice, I get a red light on that. I'm also getting a tamper, which if I push my button, I'll bet you my tamper goes away. And sure enough, it did. So the only thing I'm missing is that red system fault. And the reason I've got that is because I don't have anything between fault and ground. What I could do, and what I will do, is run a jumper between fault and ground here. And you can't really see it, but fault and ground there. Or is it here? My bad. It's here. Excellent.